Parasha Terumah, Tafshin Pebes. Very interesting, and I'm going to start sharing the first pasuk, which is going to dwell on a very simple language in the pasuk that's basically striking. If I remember, okay, how to share a screen. I'm going to do the whiteboard first, and then I'm going to share. If I can remember how to do it, I guess I don't remember. So I'm going to have to share. Share. Draw text. No. Okay, I don't remember how to do it. Too bad. I'm just gonna try to close this and reopen. Stop share screen. Here we go. I'm gonna share a different. So we follow up on the. If it's open. Not this one. Can't seem to find the password where I prepared you. Let's go for this one. Share screen, do I see it? There it is. Okay. Now we have it. The pasuk says, Daber al bnei Israel, speak to the bnei Israel, v'ikchuli terumah, and take for me, a truma. You understand that the Lashon, the language of v'yikchu, is difficult because you're asking people to give money on their own will for the Mishkan. You're asking for a truma, for a donation. So you should have said, v'yitnuli, they will give for me. You go raise funds. And every time it's going to say the word terumah, it's going to be attached with it, again, reinforcing the fact that it's not a mistake. It's not just a coincidence. Tikhu terumah. Tikhu terumah. Every time. Very interestingly, it seems that, don't forget, I am not asking you to give. I'm asking you to take. 3 times the word terumah is going to come in basically the first pasuk twice and the beginning of the third pasuk. That's terumah. The second time it's called trumasi. And the third time it's called ha terumah, the terumah. No, I'm not asking for a donation, for the donation. All the Rishonim speak about it, so it's not an innovative question. The answer will be quite innovative. So that's the first part, and Rashi draws on it right away. So we didn't have to go further than Rashi. So again, we have v'yikchuli terumah. Take from for me a truma. Who do you take it from? From someone who has a good heart who wants to give. But you're not giving. He's not giving. You're taking. The pasuk starts veikchulna again, veikchuli teruma, and ends up tikhu es terumasi. But you already said it at the beginning. What are you adding with these words at the end of the pasuk? I can't understand you repeating here, but not tikhu meitam, from them. You know, it should have been zois a teruma, and that's a teruma, and then you mention it. Rashi says, we're talking here about 3 different terumas. First, the teruma with which we built the sockles sockles of the crushing of the Mishkan. So they had to stand on something, otherwise they would fall down. So they built it. So for that, we need a special terumah that you can use for anything else. And that's the first one HaKadosh Baruch Hu mentions. It's the base. We need to build the base for the Mishkan. We have to start with the base. Otherwise, the structure won't stand. But what kind of terumah is that you can only use for the base, but you cannot use for the other things? Tikhu es terumah, see? What is this terumah here? Is the terumah that we're going to buy with it all the korbanos for the Mizbeach. Anything that was required for the Mizbeach was bought through that second terumah. The third terumah was used for everything else, for the begadim of the kohen, for the menorah, for everything you wanted. Really had to be split. Makes sense. You couldn't be one fund and do everything you want with it, right? So you understand that the pasuk purposely split it for a reason we don't know. Split it, the terumos, in 3 different funds. Now, when we look again at it, we are struck by one fact here. Is how much was it? Was the first terumah? Okay, we had to build the base of the Beis Hamikdash, of the Mishkan. How much do you have to take from people? Is there an amount, or is it just because it says Asher Yidavenu Liboy? It means I take any amount. Pasuk in Parshas Kisisa is going to say Beka lagul goyles. 1 beka per person. How much is a beka? The beka is machatzis shekel, half a shekel that even the poor person can afford. So what do I care if he's good-hearted? If everyone is obligated to give that truma, whether he's good-hearted or not, what are you telling me that you can only take it from someone that's good-hearted? No, it's machatzis shekel for the adonim, for the base of the Mishkan. Everybody's obligated to give, and it's a machatzis shekel that even a poor person can give. Second one, for the Mizbeach, it's also beka lagul goyles. Only a machatzis shekel. How is it possible? Now you the first time already, it's surprising that it's a limited amount per person. It's not how much you want to give, is how much I'm allowed to take. So that's not a truma. The second time for the Mizbeach, it's also limited. Machatzis shekel. So what's the great thing about it? If a poor person can afford machatzis shekel, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu did them a miracle on the Bizas Hayam, on when the Mitzrim were rejected by the sea, by the Yam Suf, and they were lying there, with all their wealth on themselves, diamonds, everything. They became so rich just with the Meiser of this. They could have covered not one Mishkan, few hundreds of Mishkan. So what's the point? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is only asking for such a small amount. However, Rashi says the third one is not limited. You can give what you want. There's a Peledik Midrash here. When I'm saying Peledik, it's Peledik. It says when the man used to come down, he used to come down with diamonds and pearls. So when they were collecting the man. They were collecting the man. They were gathering. They were picking up diamonds. So they were not rich enough with the Bizasayim, with the Mitzrayim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when the money used to come down, he used to come down with that. The Midrash draws that from the pasuk that he says, and they brought it to Moshe Rabbeinu early in the morning. The Midrash asks, did they come to give the Terumah only in the morning? What, not in the afternoon? There was a rule that you can give the Terumah in the afternoon? No, he says, like the man was baboiker, refers you to the man. Everything they were giving was giving from what they had gathered, together with the man. So what's the greatness of this Mishkan of the Bnei Yisrael, providing, the Terumah? All they gave is they gave from their own, from HaKadosh Baruch Hu's basically pocket. The man was enough of a miracle to provide them food, lechem min hashamayim, lechem abirim, everything you wanted. But what was the purpose? What was the purpose then of making it such a fuss that we're going to make the Mishkan from the money of the Bnei Israel? It has to be a Terumah. It's a separate parasha. We basically breaking down the Terumah in so many packages that, okay, but I have another question. We know simanim, according to the Torah, are very important. You're asking me to bring a beka. Beka reminds me 172 when Yaakov was holding the ankle of Esau. It's Akev, missing the Yud, 172. Yaakov is 182. I'm not going there. The Haya Akev Tishmeun, Akev, Beka, same letters, but they're not in the same order. So I go after Beka. Now we have two Beka. 172 plus 172 equals 344. The number I don't like. It's a terrible number. Should be avoided in a Makom Kodesh like the Mishkan. Chmana Nitzlan, it's the same gematria as Refidim when Amalek came to fight the Bnei Israel. It's when there's a Gzera Shmad. Shmad, Chmana Nitzlan, equals 344. So what kind of siman? So already I see I don't bring my money. You give me a siman, that's not the right siman. What am I doing here? It's almost 345 like Moshe Rabbeinu. But 344 is 4 times Elohim. Elohim is 86. 4 times is 344. Now I'm starting to see. They were supposed to be 5 times Elohim in Mitzrayim, 430 years, like Nefesh, to correct the Nefesh of Adam Arishon. So 430 years was supposed to be there. We were reading Shibud since Miriam was born, 86 years. 86 years is 1 time Elohim. I have 4 times now left of Elohim behind me. That's what now it says here. And we have to pay the price. Like it says in by the Egel, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take it slowly. Rashi says there that there's not one tzara that comes to Bnei Israel without having a little bit of the chet of the Egel. Oh, so now you want to remind me, despite the fact that I have the Beis Hamikdash, I still have 4 times Elohim there. That's a pretty rough awakening. So it's interesting that we have such a things in am I record? Oh, yeah, recording. So it's very interesting that we have such a striking semen And that doesn't seem to bother the Torah. Let's go into it. I would like to show you another point that Rashi brings down, and I'm going to share my screen. Where is this one? You know, we like the number 13 because there's the Yud Gimel, Michlin, the Rachamin, the 13 Midos and everything. Rashi says that's the reason they were ordered to bring 13 different type of things to the Mishkan. 13? Really? Here they are. Zahav, Kesef, number 2, Nechoishes, Techeles, which is wool, Argaman, which is a wool, this is in blue, this is in a reddish type of thing. Toilah Shani, you have to bring these worms that makes silk. Sheish, it's a pishtan. Izim, it's a special, it's called Noitzav Izim. Oiros Eli Meodamim, it's a special type of the hide of the animal that turns red. Oiros Techashim were animals that were created just for the time of the Mishkan. 10. Atzei Shitim, those are the trees that Yaakov told the Bnei Israel to plant when they arrived in Mitzrayim, because he told them that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's in the Midrash, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to ask them to build a Mishkan. 12 Shemen Lamoir, the Besamim, Avnei Shoiham, and Avnei Miluim. You want to tell me Rashi HaKodesh cannot count? How does he come up with 13? The Pasuk lists them, you have exactly 15 items like Yud K. Oh, that would be fun to say, you know what, that looks like a very holy thing to say. You know what, the Mishkan was created with Yud K stuff, and Rashi says Yud Gimel. So if it's Yud Gimel, it's not Tesvav, it's not Yud K. So how can Rashi says Yud K? The funny thing is, not only Rashi says Yud K, even the Ari HaKodesh in his Pshat says Yud K, Yud Gimel, exactly like Rashi. You know, would say in Rashi there's a printing mistake. You know, it's a printer that made a mistake between Yud Gimel and Yud K, whatever it is. The Ari HaKodesh writes it clearly. There are 13 and not 15. So why do I have 15 in front of my eyes? Is there something that makes sense in this psukim here? All right. Now the shir starts. And let's see where it takes us, because it takes us to a place we would have never guessed there's such a thing and possibility. So I'm going to take it from Dari HaKodesh in Likutei Torah, first explaining, and then I'm going to re-explain Rashi, and then I'm going to explain the pasuk. And you will see where we're going with it. It's amazing how exact and we're going to see the words of the pasuk making sense. Right now, with the basically destroyed, you know, the pashut meaning of the pasuk with the veikhu, with the devino liboy, the different trumas. Why Beka? Why not Beka? Why are they limited? Why they call it Truma? What's going on? And our 15 stuff, you know, just in summary. And while they both say, Rashi and Ari HaKodesh, that there's only 13 different items that were supposed to be brought to the Beis HaMikdash, to the Mishkan. The Ari HaKodesh says, you know something? You know what the Truma is about? Do you know what it's hinting? It's not, we're not talking about giving money. No, far away from it. We're talking here about the Tefillin. What? That's where you order the Tefillin. Tefillin is halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Truma means Tefillin? Really? Ari HaKodesh, you know, I like far-fetched stuff, when there's a bridge to understand them. But you blast me with such a statement that the Terumah means Tefillin. Yeah, that he says, you know what? Yes, you have 3 Terumahs because there are 3 elements in the Tefillin. The Shel Rosh, the Shel Yad, and the Dalet behind the head, from which the light is coming down. I know Ritzuis are coming down on me. Maybe you have in your Tefillin some kind of light. I'd like to understand what's going on. How can you explain me now that Terumah means Tefillin? So the Ari HaKodesh goes and says, I would like to show you this on the pasuk, because I don't want to lose you on this. It's a little bit technical, so I'm going to reshare the screen, and we're going to go down here. By the way, when I see Bekar, you remember when Eliezer gave a Nezem Zahav, a nose ring to Rivka, it says Bekar Mishkalui. So Eliezer was very cheap, really, because Bekar is Machatzis HaShekel, really. I guess I thought I put it in here. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to try to go slow on it. First, you know what? Why don't we start with that? The Zohar HaKodesh says, so I'm going to bring you into Tefillin explaining the Ari HaKodesh here. I'm going to explain him a different way. The Ari HaKodesh says that there is, we spoke about it several times, that the Malchus, the Shechina, is the entryway to, I showed you even, I don't know if you can see that here. Do you see it? Someone can answer?
You could see it.
I don't hear anything. Were you able to see it?
We see a screen, yeah.
Okay, so here the Malchus is the only entryway to the spheres in Shamayim, to the upper worlds. Has the 9 other upper worlds. Okay, we've seen it many times. That's the only way up. This is the gate of Hashem. This way. Now that you have seen that, says brings the Zohar, the pasuk, Pischuli Sharet Tzedek. David HaMelech says, open me Sharet Tzedek. Which are Sharet Tzedek? If you look at Sharet Tzedek here, if you look at Sharet Tzedek equals 774. This is what David asked, open me these gates. Which are these gates? Exactly the gates we saw last week. So you have the Malchus and the 6 other spheres above it control this world. And we said last week, in order to kill, the Mazikim, Mashchis, Af, and Chema, it was to have Hashem Hu Elohim. 6 times 129 equals 774. You know what it's equal to also? 9 times 86. There's a big story in this. I didn't know if I was going to tell you. It's in between, even though they're all Yud Ke Vav Ke, in between here, what moves the light from one to another is the name Elohim in between. There's 10 times Elohim in between them. So once you're up to here in Sharet Tzedek, you have 9 more times in order to move down. So you have Elohim here, Elohim, 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 Elohim. So the moving part in Shamayim is always the name Elohim. The initiating part is always the name Yud Ke Vav Ke. So, okay, that's great. Zohar, I understand this, it's a nice word. But how do I open the gate? Shin Bar Yochai says, you want to know how to open the gate? He says, It's written in the pasuk in Shir Hashirim, the next pasuk here. Roishech olayich kakarmel. Your head is like a vineyard. You know what's this vineyard? This vineyard is the Tefillin shel Rosh, says the Zohar. The Tefillin shel Rosh, you call this, the hinting in the Torah is, in Shir Hashirim, Roishech olayich kakarmel. Okay, I said, let's go and see what's inside here. I didn't write it. Equals Roishech olayich kakarmel equals 961, which is 31 square. Kel times kel, completion. When you have in Gematria a square number, means from all the other side, it's complete. You completed once you wear the Tefillin shel Rosh. You remember we called it Kisra de Malka? Keser HaMelech. Truma equals Keser Kel. Truma equals 651. Keser equals 620. Kel equals 31. Keser, Kel, that's Truma. Now I start seeing the relationship what Daria Kodesh is starting to say. And what happens to me? Why is it considered like a vineyard? Because you're getting, automatically, you opened up the channels with on top, and you can receive the Shefar from Shamayim, right? 961 equals Vayar Eloikim es ha'oyer kitoy. So you meaning you're getting that oil? Yes, that oil. You will see which oil it is. What you're getting when you're wearing, and don't worry, we're not going out of subject. We're just trying to explain the Ariya Kodesh that says Truma is Tefillin. So we just take the Zohar to give us a little bit of illustration to understand and come back to the Ariya Kodesh and tackle him and see that Rashi says exactly the words, word for word, like the Ariya Kodesh. That was his intention. So, Vayar Elohim es ha'or ki tov. When I wear the Tefillin shel Rosh, automatically I'm bathed with a light. Oh, I thought when I go to shul, I'm doing a favor to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. No, you're not doing no favor to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're doing a favor to yourself. You're doing a favor when you're wearing the tefillin, you're doing a favor that you are protected. To the point that the Zohar says that when someone says Kriya Shema with tefillin in the morning, it's so powerful that he's killing all the mazikim. Not only is killing the mazikim, by tying up the Yetzer Hara. And he says, Habale Hargecha, someone who comes to kill you, kill him first. So you're entitled. 1 second. The Kavana, when I'm saying the Yichud of Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, at that moment, the Zohar says it's exactly as if you had the sword with double-edged sword cutting on both sides, and you are basically scavenging, all the mazikim. You killing right and left. Sickness, mara, mazikim. Problem of panasa, mazikim. Problems of shidduchim, mazikim. Problems in general, mazikim. So what do I do? The Midrash says the difficulty of Yetzias Mitzrayim was because Elu evdei avodah zara ve'elu evdei avodah zara. Both were idolaters. Elu megadle bloiris ve'elu megadle blois. They both had the same haircut, the same type of hair. These one also didn't have bris, arelim, and these one were arelim. And it goes on like this, the Midrash. When a person is in a stage where there's a Gzaldin that came at him, and he remains there, he's stupid. Someone comes at you with the baseball bat and wants to really whack you with it. Not only it's a baseball bat, but he has a tremendous nail through it. What do? You stay put, or you take off? You take off, yeah. A normal guy takes off. On the mazikim, how do I take off? Elevate yourself. Why? Because you become a birya chadasha. The gzar din was on that person you were. The person you are now, there's no gzar din on it. That simple? Yes, that's simple. Zohar says that's simple. Okay, great. So I want to become a birya chadasha. I have problems. I want to become a birya chadasha. I don't want to have to suffer anymore from the darkness. What do? Kriya Shema with tefillin, with kavana. Lechatchila mashmiya leoznoi. We're not yoitze Kriya Shema if we don't say the word and break the word separately. Shema, they should have an ayin at the end. Yisrael. Don't swallow the lamed, because everything is important in this sentence. There's tremendous soides here. I'm not going to be able to go into it tonight, but it's a, I should say one time a shir, just on Kriya Shema. You'll see how long it's going to last. And what's in there, why 6 words, then the last word is echad. You know, the whole Shem Hashem, how it's structured into these words is amazing. Anyway, so let's go back to us. So I have the tefillin. So I'm channeled, and I have a chibur. I'm connected to the upper worlds. So now the upper worlds look exactly as the lower worlds, and because we are one, and we both connected through the tefillin shel rosh. I'm saying the yichud of Kriya Shema. At that time, I won my day. Mazikim cannot attack me for that day. The Yetzer Hara cannot attack me that day. Why? Because I have the oil of the Bina. So I'm in the Olam HaTorah. I'm way above the 7 spheres that control these worlds. I'm in the upper worlds, in the Yud K. That's where I'm connecting myself with the Tefillin Shel Rosh. And I'm having that light that scares all the mazikim, but a lot of them will die. That's the Zohar on the. And the last one of these big crowns and everything is the tefillin. Just to tell you that what we have coming from above, we think we had it all. It's not this. The pasuk says, "Vayivra Hashem Elokim es ha'adam betzalmoi." HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the man to his image. What's his image? Someone with tefillin. The Zohar says, you know what Tzelem Elokim is? When the person wears tefillin, he has a Tzelem Elokim. It's a Gemara in Brachas Vav Amud Beis that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wears tefillin and everything. I don't have the time to go into it, because you can ask a tremendous question. The base is that we don't have any dmus. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has no shape. So what do you mean he wears tefillin on his head? Where is his head? Saying HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a head is giving a thing. It's Avodah Zarah, it's Asur. So, it's a bechina only of the spheres which you attach yourself to them. Just don't want people to start thinking of HaKadosh Baruch Hu as a shape. Chaz v'shalom has no shape, and we can't give to it any shape. So what happens? So now when I have the oyer, said the Zohar of the tefillin, and I wore them, it says the pasuk, and I'm going to share the screen because the pasuk you don't know, or maybe you know. Sorry if I think you don't know. Automatically comes the name of Hashem and lays upon the person. Ve'ra'u chol amei haaretz, and all the nation of earth will see. Kishem Hashem, the Yud Ke Vav Ke Nikra Alecha. It's called upon you, meaning lies on you. Ve'yaru mimeka, and they're going to be afraid of you. Oh, how do they see it? Do you see you the Yud Kei Vav Kei on someone? Because he wore tefillin in the morning, you see him? No, you don't see him. So what it means, Veroch, the Pasuk doesn't lie. It's Pasuk in the Torah and Dvarim. So what it means, Veroch Chol HaMe'aretz, not only you will see, everybody will see. The nefesh of a person sees it. You realize when you go into contact with a person that this person has something special. So the Ari HaKodesh builds of this pasuk says, you know what? When you wear tefillin, it says ve'yoru, they will be afraid. It says the same thing about the Beis Hamikdash, about the Mishkan. Mikdashi tira'u, you will be afraid. And just for what, to show that it's connected to the tefillin, if you take Yishem Hashem Nikra Alecha, the Yaru Mimeka equals 877. Again, Vayar es ha'er ki tov. Again, the light through the tefillin. We'll see exactly what it means. And what it says, the Gemara in Brachos, I wrote it down. It says what parasha is there in the tefillin of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Umi ke'amecha ke'Yisrael goyechad ba'aretz. That's what. You take Umi ke'amcha ke'Yisrael goy, 877. That's the part they see, they're scared, and so forth. Now, this is where we see the light, why the Ari HaKodesh jumped from there to Tefillin. Terumah equals 651. Keser, kel. The Keser of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Ari HaKodesh says is that the Tefillin shel rosh. So the first Terumah, so we have three Terumahs. The first one is called Terumah. The second one is called Terumasi. And the third one is called Ha-Terumah. And remember, Rashi said these are three different fonts. These are three different kupos. Terumah Ehye Katal LeYisrael. What comes down on the tefillin when you wear tefillin shel rosh is a tal of techiyah. The tal oiros, which are the 39 lights, it's the oir haganus. The oir haganus reveals itself every morning when a person has the tefillin on himself. Can you believe the Ari HaKodesh goes haywire, the Zohar goes haywire with people coming to shul, not only without tefillin, but even without tefillin, talking in shul. Just the Ari HaKodesh would not say a halacha in shul. When someone has tefillin, the b'gam he does the same way. There's such a greatness and power when you have the tefillin. On the other hand, there's a tremendous downside of someone who disrespect the shul while having tefillin. It's like taking the crown of the king and disrespecting it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sending you the Tal Oires. You sure you're not interested? Very good. Stay with you, Yetzer Hara. Let him take care of you. Let him have fun with you. What happened here? Oh, I lost the rest. Okay, it doesn't matter. So this is where we are. We have the Tal Oires, and goes on the Ari HaKodesh was Trumasi Terumas Yud Nidvenu Liboy. Why it says on there that it's called Tefillin Shel Yad, because it's next to the Lev, and he brings Yidvenu is 72, like Chesed. He brings the Chasadim down. What do you have in the heart? It says in the pasuk, "V'lo yisasuru acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem." Right? After your heart, so your heart guides your eyes, and your eyes see, and it becomes a gate, and the flood from outside goes inside here and rottens you up, the heart, which rottens in turn the mind. And this is how a person loses his life. Great. If you take, so this one, it's called Terumasi, equals Pesach Einayim. Once you wear, even if you don't have within you the guidelines and the strength to close your eyes, once the Tefillin Shel Yad is protecting you, whatever goes in your heart and whatever comes through your eyes inside. That's the protection That's why he says terumasi. I don't want to, it's already starting. So I would like to come up with an explanation on all this and tie it up with Rashi. Why is Rashi here really meaning? Why with the first fund you had to do the Adonim? What was it that a person has to do? And sorry, why was it, according to Rashi, that the only thing you can purchase with the Truma itself, which is Keser Kel, we saw that is a Tefillin, why you can only do the Yesod, which is the base? Rashi here really gives you a hint that he basically aligns his explanation with the explanation of the Ari HaKodesh. What is teruma? Teruma is a way to come down from Keye, which is the Keser, which we are here, Yud Ke Vav Ke, so the name which is in the Chochma and coming down, and the Aleph Dalet Nun Yud. Every morning you say it several times. This Yichud, you say it, I don't know if it's not 5 times every morning, you don't realize. Ya'neinu v'urachu michaper v'yasud yebal shiva pe v'lekachama. So Hashem, Oshia Melech Ya'neinu beyoim kareinu. Ya'neinu beyoim kareinu. Yud Beis Kuf Yabok Ma'avar Yabok. Says that Ari HaKodesh, when the lights are coming, they're coming on the 12th. Tfiros, the gid that goes around, there's 3 times on each side, 3 tfiros on each side of every box, plus the one in the back is the ma'averta. You remember I told you, a person connects to the muzzle only if he's a Ben Adam. The regular horoscope, zodiac, you only connect it if you're a Ben Adam. However, if you're Adam, because you have Tselem Elohikim, then you have, when you wear the Tefillin, you have the 12 zodiac, which are the Tfiras, and you control them with the Ma'averta. Ma'averta, you remember Yaakov went Ma'avar Yabok? Nobody knows what's Ma'avar Yabok. The passage of Yabok. No, passage of Yabok is in the back of the Tefillin where the Retzua is going through. I know I have the Tal, Ehye Katal LeYisrael. I know I have the Tal coming down. You're telling me now that number 13, which is the Mazala Kadisha, goes to the Ma'averta, to the passage where the Retzua is going through. And we saw that a few weeks ago and many times over and over, that it's called that Mazala Kadisha, the Yud in the center, the Noitzer Chesed Lo Alofim, that gives you control over the whole entire zodiac. You can dictate to the zodiac. The zodiac doesn't dictate to you as long as you're an Adam. How do you become an Adam? You have Tselem Elohikim. You put Tefillin with Kavana. You say Kriya Shema with Kavana. Then you become an Adam. Aha. And says the Ari, you know what? If you're not surprised enough, I'm going to surprise you even more. You know why the Ritzua is coming down? Because Ritzua is 371. Keneged, with the Koilo, the 370 Oiros, Nehoirin Kadishin, the 370 light which compose the Or Haganus, they all come through the Ma'averta of the Tefillin and go to your right and to your left. Now you have a choice in the morning. You can be in charge of your day. You can decide you have a successful day. And Chaz v'Shalom, someone who's a bit dizzy, not to say that he talks with feeling and everything, this one, he brings himself into a worse situation that he was already. You have the power. Are you going to tell me that was a great share? Now, where is the woman? They don't have feeling. Feeling came only to those who were choite in the ego. So we need to bring back the light. The women don't have that need because they were not choite in the ego. That's why they don't have the mitzvah of tefillin. So how do they get their lights? It's great to have those lights. Tefillin equals 580. Yet Hayetzer Hara, 580. Oh, really upside connection. The Sam and his Lili together, 580. Oh, really great. So how do the women get the same lights? Because if we were choite and we have this present, obviously they have it in a different way. Say R, 580. Hair. Shin, Yud, Ayin, Resh. That's why Al Pi Kabbalah, it's very makpi that the woman should not show, and especially not before a mezuzah. It's a tremendous, it's like having that feeling and talking. A woman should never show her hair before a mezuzah. It brings terrible things. Once a woman covers her hair, automatically we have, because we did the ego, the shining of the Or HaGanuz for only a certain time during the day while we have that feeling. They have it the whole entire day. That's their reward. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them. Tremendous, tremendous. Shall be zoiche that, so just to answer Rashi, the why he says the 13th tab, because he's pointing also to the Ma'averta, we counted 15. So the Ari HaKadosh says the oiros, both of the heights, you have to count them as one. So you're taking 2 hours. So you have the 13. And this is pointing to the Mazala Kadisha. Rashi didn't have to mention the 13, explaining the 3 kupas. But now we understand. We understand what women get, the Or HaGanuz their way. We understand how men gets the Or HaGanuz. And we understand that we are gaining our day at the moment we say Kriya Shema with feeling, with Kavana, understanding we have Kisra de Malka on the head. Have a great Shabbos, everyone.